Welcome to one of the toughest and most challenging journeys. Today, we will witness extraordinary driving skills, overcoming dangerous and difficult roads, and be prepared because things will get extremely fierce at the end when the car catches fire. Right from the start, we can see that the road ahead is not easy. The rain has made the road slippery and muddy. The driver needs to keep his cool and use all of his skills to control this giant vehicle through dangerous curves. The wheels spun in the mud, the car shook violently, but the driver decided to continue because giving up was not an option.
Bạn Đây mà Scorpio Ano kaya yun? Ano kaya ngayon natin? Ngayon ano? Ini gambar uno sa tulong lang. Na yun na. Robo, logra. Magara para sa kan. Part tires lang. Bawir ako.
But then, something no one expected happened. The car started making strange noises and black smoke billowed from the rear. The fire quickly spread throughout the car, making the situation extremely dangerous. We can see the fire erupting fiercely, threatening both the driver and surrounding vehicles. At this point, concentration and quick reflexes are the only things that can save the driver's life. In these life-or-death moments, the driver must make the right decision and quickly escape the car before the fire consumes everything. And now, we are going to enter a real challenge when the heavy-duty truck is facing a dangerous steep slope. To overcome it, the driver decided to ask for help from the powerful tractor in front. But will everything go according to plan? Oh no! The giant tractor flipped over in a very dangerous situation. Not only the cargo, but also the driver's life was at risk. Overturning on a slope like this can have catastrophic consequences if not handled promptly. Everything happened so fast, and the situation spiraled out of control. This is a clear example of the challenges drivers face every day on these dangerous and treacherous roads. And here, an unbelievable sight. A giant truck was pulling a huge steel tank on a narrow and treacherous road. Looking at the size of this tank, it was hard to believe that it could move through the small roads and dangerous curves ahead.
पीछे से है ये लोग है वो कटाई कर रहे हैं क्योंकि पीछे वाला जो एक्सल है ना जो ट्रक है उसकी भाई स्लिप निकाल रहा है ये ट्रक स्लिप ये देखो भाई करना पड़ेगा भाई दम तोड़ दिया ट्रक ने भाई दम तोड़ दिया ट्रक ने स्लिप मार रहा है यहाँ पे और अभी बैक जा रही है अभी गाड़ी बैक जा रही है अभी ब्रेक लगाएगा ओ हो भाई ब्रेक लगा दिया दोबारा ट्राई कर रहे हैं ये भाई
The driver of this vehicle must possess top-notch driving skills, because with just a little carelessness, this giant cargo tank can lose balance and cause a serious accident.
ये देखो बैग ले रहे हैं फिर दोबारा वापस लेके आना पड़ेगा और ये वीडियो कैसी लगी कमेंट करके बता सकते हो दबा के वीडियो को शेयर कर देना धन्यवाद
And now we are approaching the first corner. This corner is not easy as it has a tight angle, making the car very difficult to control. You can clearly see the tension in the driver's every turn, trying to keep the tank from hitting the sides of the road. This scene is truly terrifying. The tank weighing several tons is rolling down the slope, and if nothing is done to stop it, it could cause an unimaginable disaster. The truck, no longer able to maintain its balance, also began to shake violently. The weight and the force from the cargo bed caused the truck to tilt to one side, and then, in a matter of seconds, the huge truck flipped over onto the ground, stuck in the mud and causing chaos. And now, we are witnessing one of those unbelievable sights. This giant truck is carrying a U-17 submarine, a huge and heavy vehicle that is rarely seen on the roads of everyday life. The sheer size of this submarine makes it a huge challenge for its driver. The U-17 is tens of meters long and weighs thousands of tons. Moving something this large and cumbersome requires extraordinary driving skills. Look at the scene before you. This long and huge truck has to move through extremely narrow and winding roads. Every turn and every slope is a big challenge for both the truck and the driver. The U-17 submarine is truly a massive object. It is longer than a skyscraper and weighs several tons. So moving it requires not only a powerful truck, but also absolute coordination between the drivers and support team. Now we move on to another challenging and extremely stressful situation. This giant excavator was stuck in a deep pit where thick mud was making any movement impossible. Look, the excavator seemed to be stuck in the mud, and even though the driver tried to use all the power of the engine, it was all in vain. The crawler just spun on the mud. The more he tried to get out, the deeper the machine sank. The muddy terrain had extremely poor traction, and the heavy weight of the excavator only made the situation worse. Gravity and the friction of the mud were holding the vehicle tightly, causing it to become stuck in a natural trap. Next, we come to a challenging scene. Look, two giant trucks carrying a huge piece of machinery are entering a narrow and winding road. This requires skillful driving skills and careful calculation of every step. With the massive size of the machinery, every turn becomes a real challenge for the drivers. We are witnessing an extremely dangerous situation. A large truck is burning fiercely in the middle of the road. The fire spread rapidly and thick black smoke enveloped the entire area. The heat from the fire was extremely strong, making everything around it more dangerous than ever. The fire broke out from the engine of the car and quickly spread to the entire body of the car. The sky-high black smoke was covering the area. Every second that passed was threatening the lives of those present. The crackling sound from the car and the bright flames created a terrible scene. This was one of the worst situations that any driver would never want to face. Fortunately, the rescue team arrived quickly. Fire trucks were racing to the scene, and rescue workers began preparing equipment to extinguish the fire. High-pressure water hoses were deployed immediately. The rescue team is working urgently, trying to control the fire before it spreads further and causes more damage. We are witnessing the amazing sight of giant snow plows dumping snow on both sides of the road. The roads covered with white snow are now gradually being cleared by the superior power of these giant machines. The waterfall-like columns of snow shot up from both sides of the vehicles, creating an impressive sight. With overwhelming power, these vehicles moved strongly and relentlessly. Each wave of snow was blown off the road as if it were nothing. Before the power of the giant machine, clearing a snowy route like this is no simple task. The vehicles have to work continuously, fighting against harsh conditions and thick snow, but everything is handled smoothly and efficiently. Clearing snow on snow-covered roads is no easy task, and danger lurks everywhere. Slippery roads and layers of snow can pose unexpected obstacles. But with powerful equipment and skilled drivers, the roads are cleared safely and efficiently. The resilience and durability of these snow plows are vital to ensuring that all road operations are uninterrupted during the cold winter months. Next, we will see this giant wood crusher in action. This is a specialized device designed to process large tree trunks and wood from forests. With its tremendous power, this machine can turn giant trees into small pieces in a matter of seconds. The crusher begins to pull the tree trunk into its maw, the large blades inside spinning rapidly, breaking each piece of wood into tiny pieces. It is a quick and efficient process, helping to free up the forest in the most optimal way. We can see large branches and leaves being swallowed into the machine with ease and disappearing just as quickly. The power of this wood crusher not only increases work efficiency, but also reduces human labor. Operating the machine also requires high skills, because even a small mistake can lead to dangerous accidents. We continue with the impressive sight of a vehicle carrying a giant tank on a specialized trailer. Given the enormous size and heavy weight of the tank, transporting it through narrow roads requires great driving skills and utmost care. This extra-long truck carries a giant tank, which looks like it would be used in an industrial plant or oil refinery. It is mounted on a trailer frame with multiple wheels to distribute the weight and avoid damaging the road surface. Transporting this mass on a route requires not only steady steering but also careful maneuvering around every curve. We continue with a shot of a giant rock crusher performing its task of crushing giant rocks into smaller pieces. This is one of the important heavy equipment in the mining and construction industry. The stone crusher is equipped with powerful jaws that can break the hardest rocks. Large rocks are fed into the crusher mouth and crushed by two powerful rotating shafts inside. From there, smaller rock pieces are transported out via a conveyor belt.
liga nesse vídeo um trator.
We continue with a challenging scene. A heavy tractor is trying to pull a large truck, stuck in deep mud. This is an extremely difficult and technically demanding task. The truck was transporting heavy goods, moving through muddy roads after a heavy rain. The wheels were stuck deep in the mud, unable to move on their own. The entire vehicle sank deep into the mud, becoming a heavy iron block motionless in the wilderness. It is not easy to rescue in such extreme situations, but thanks to the powerful tractor and the driver's experience, the truck was successfully rescued. This is truly a testament to the power and efficiency of tractors in muddy rescue work. Finally, we come to an extremely narrow and treacherous curve where the trucks have to be very careful to pass the slippery road surface. Narrow corner and rough terrain make driving through this section of road more challenging than ever. Each vehicle had to move slowly. The drivers had to use all their skills to avoid flipping the vehicle. As the wheels slid down the slope, the large truck swerved with each turn, its large wheels gripping the muddy road to get through safely.
আসত ভাই খুলনা গাড়ি কিতা হয় এখান তো শক্তির গাড়ির ভাড়া কিতা হয় দেখি আসত ভাই নয়া গাড়ি উঠে গেছে এখন খুলনা গাড়ি লাস্টার হইছে ডিমর গাড়ি
And here is the final stretch of the grueling journey. The bikes have overcome everything from mud to steep terrain and tricky corners. Once again, we witness the perseverance, top-notch driving skills and formidable power of these heavy machines. Thanks for following. See you on the next adventure.